Hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to another podcast here on the EKN Radio Network. My name's Rob Howden. I'll be joined by David Cole in what is our fifth episode of the EKN OutLap. It's the new preview podcast that we launched just before the Super Nationals last November. Episode number 5, January the 22nd now, actually. Here in 2020. Dave and I getting set to head out onto the road on Thursday for the event that we'll be talking about today. And again, this podcast, essentially the brand new preview podcast, we launched it last year, as I said. The idea is to kind of give you an audio preview of the event we got coming up. We're going to go through just the event itself, some of the notes that we have. We'll walk you through the categories, kind of look at some of the names, some of the drivers, the amount of drivers, that kind of thing. Just an opportunity for those of you who may be tuning into the EKN Radio Network this weekend to listen to the live coverage from the Challenge of the Americas opener in Tucson, Arizona. That's the event we're talking about here today. And this EKN OutLap brought to you by Atlanta Motorsports Park. In Las Vegas this past November, at the Rock the Rio finale and the SuperKarts USA Super Nationals, Formula K reigned supreme, winning the headline shifter kart main events at both races. Atlanta Motorsports Park is the North American importer and distributor for the Formula K and Praga chassis, and they have 2020 karts in stock to support their new dealers. AMP also has previous year models in inventory available for racers who want a winning chassis at a discounted price of up to 40% off. Contact them directly for pricing and head to atlantamotorsportspark.com/karting to learn more about Formula K, Praga, and AMP's karting program. All right, David, my first event was a week and a half ago when we traveled to Homestead for the first round of the SuperKarts USA Winter Series down in Homestead. You've been on the couch for essentially 2 months doing hardly anything. Actually, we've been busting our ass. But it's been 2 months. It's been 2 months in the office, dude. You must be itching to get the hell out of there.
I'm lucky I got a haircut, so I'm at least clean that way. I do shower every day, so I'm not actually on the couch doing nothing as you quoted. I'm not fat either. I actually weighed myself. No. I'm still 200 pounds. I thought I gained like 20. I felt like I did. And maybe it's just because I haven't been around the sun. I haven't been around the fumes of tire squealing and gas burning. So maybe that's the issue.
Did you go overboard a little bit at Christmas? If you thought you were going to be a little heavier, did you go hard at Christmas? Chow down or what?
Who doesn't go? I mean, when you're doing 2 weeks of just nonstop eating and drinking, it kind of adds up.
That's true.
Not you throw Thanksgiving on top of that the month before. Coming back from SuperKarts USA Super Nationals, so you're kind of just the last 2 months have been nonstop action. But yet still in this cold ass weather.
Yeah, but listen, here's the thing. You're going to roll into the GRR airport on Thursday afternoon. You're going to jump on a plane. 70, be low 70s in Tucson. We've got racing for us this weekend. We always like getting back to the Challenge of the Americas because they got such a fantastic atmosphere. Andy Saisman and his whole crew there. It's the family, right? It's the Challenge of the Americas family. Looking forward to it. Number one, great atmosphere. Fantastic race, third year with the Rock program for Andy's COTA series, and then one of the best tracks that you and I love going to, Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, Arizona. The track is so racy. We're up top there in essentially like a third story sniper's nest, if you will. Like we're up top there in the small little tower. We get to see everything. Great vantage points and a tremendous racetrack.
All of the above. I completely agree with that. It is kind of like a sniper little, except you're out in the open. We can't really exactly hide from anything. There's no camouflage for our tower, right. But everybody can see where we're at. Great racetrack to watch racing and to be part of. Great staff. That is the family of the Challenge of the Americas, and looking forward to getting there. And as you said, great weather on the horizon. So it should be a weekend not to miss out on.
David, I've been doing this for 25 years now, and I love every time during our podcast where we kind of get to talk about how long something's been going, because we have longevity. 10 years with the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour. This is the 13th season of the Challenge of the Americas. Andy obviously built something a number of years ago. And he's had to work through the transition from Rotax to Rock. It's the third year under the Rock Cup USA banner. But the stability he's put together and the growth that he's been able to build after that transition, it's just a great program for people in the West.
Yeah, he built a series from scratch. He had a little regional program going back in 2008 when he launched Challenge in the Americas, and it grew to one of the leading international programs in North America here. And obviously the transition from Rotax to Rock has been was something that he had to hurdle, and he did. He got growth from year 1 to year 2, and now the mission is to gain growth again from year 2 to year 3. Any type of growth is good. It might not be the big numbers I think we saw last year because a lot of people flocked over. But there will be growth, and we're seeing it in the entry list that we received for this weekend.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. Dave, let's start talking about the racetrack itself now, because Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, it's held some big races. He starts with karting back in the day, SCUSA Pro Tour, as we've talked about already, Challenge of the Americas. 12 turns, 0.8 of a mile. We run it counterclockwise. The track is essentially a replica of the Suzuka South Circuit in Japan. Again, passing in virtually every corner of the racetrack. That's one of the amazing things about this particular track.
Every corner of the racetrack has an opportunity for you to get by somebody. It's just a matter of planning it correctly and accomplishing that task. My favorite is coming up to the checkered flag. You have the long back straightaway, and then you have a tight left-hander and then a tight right-hander, both of which are uphill. So you got to have the power, you got to have the momentum, you got to have the ability to work past that driver if you want to come through with the victory.
And you know what I'll add to that, David? The thing about it, too, is the way that left-right setup is coming to the end of you're downhill, then left and kind of back to the uphill, then the right. It's not even just a straight 90. I think it's a little bit more. Is if you do defend to the inside and try to get through that corner, you're inevitably going to push wide at the exit. You get the double over-unders, right? Because it's the over-under to come through the one corner and then the over-under potentially to come back through the final corner of the racetrack. I love going to Tucson. And for you and I, let's jump into this real quick. It's our 9th season bringing the EKN Trackside live program to the challenge as well. It's we've got a great relationship with Andy and his crew, but I'll just say this right now. You can talk about it, but it just we thank Andy for again showing his confidence and support in what we do.
He brought us in 2012, which ironically was the first time the series visited the Tucson facility. So yeah, we've been now with him for 8 years, entering now our 9th season, producing EKN Trackside live coverage of Challenge of the Americas. So we've been at Tucson every time they've been there. It was absent from the schedule in 2018. So the series is visiting there for the 8th time. So we've had to have been there at least, I want to say at least 13 or 14 times that we've been to this facility. So it's one of the regular stops, I guess you could say, on the EKN Trackside live schedule.
We will jump in and have a look at the numbers from last year. We'll talk a bit about the winners from last year. We'll then go into 2020 a bit after this break. David, let's have a look at the official event schedule. Thursday, unofficial practice. Drivers will be getting on there to get some laps in. Official practice on Friday. 5 total sessions, but I think one of the cool things that Andy kind of brought in a number of years ago was that extended session, the hot pit session at the end. We'll have our happy hour with Howden live show during that particular deal. We'll recall the times. We'll have Greg Bell sitting in with us, and Andy Saisman will sit in as one of our guests during the happy hour. But that final session is something that I think a lot of people love about the challenge, where you get the shorter sessions during the day, but at the end, you get to have that longer session where you can come into the hot pit, make adjustments, and go right back out. Incredibly useful, and you can also get a couple of longer runs in there if you want to find out how your chassis is going to handle, how the setup is going to come in later in the run.
Well, it's 17 minutes long this coming weekend, so it gives, as you said, the drivers and crew plenty of opportunity to accomplish different tasks. Some go in looking for outright speed, trying to get a different qualifying setup. Obviously, you can't change tires, so that's one of the hampers, I guess, as you can say, looking at it, going at and trying to get fast lap, like a qualifying lap. But again, others use it as more of a way to gauge what the what the track and the chassis is doing long run, and seeing a 5-lap run or a 10-lap run, even what the kart does and how they can improve on that pace.
Saturday and Sunday, both main event days, 6 rounds in total over the 3 weekends. So we run 2 full days of racing, both Saturday and Sunday, qualifying, pre-final, and final. Again, 6 rounds to set up to see who will win the championship once we wrap up Sunday in Sonoma in March. Now, heading into this podcast, this OutLap podcast, I did have a chance to connect with Andy Saisman at the shop at FTK, Full Throttle Karting in Orange, California, before they loaded the trailer, before they rolled to Tucson. Andy and I sat down for a quick chat. Andy, thank you so much for joining me here on the EKN OutLap. I appreciate it. I know that last couple of days here in the office, in the shop at FTK, but loading things up, and you getting ready to head to Tucson or what?
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. Thanks for having me. You're right. It's that last-minute push that all of us in this business go through, whether you're the organizer or a shop or a team owner or whatever. I mean, we all have those – we all have our plan in mind of our schedule, and then we, just like a racing budget, it gets thrown out the window when it's time to actually get wheels on the road, right?
That's it. The one thing you always have, David, of course, and I have discussed it here on the podcast already, is the simple fact that one of the constants that you always have, you never know, obviously, with teams and whatever drivers who are coming, some of them. You had the Rotax program for the while, that was a constant, but now you're, the Rock's your base foundation. But the constant that you have with your program, wherever you go, the staff you have, and that you're going to be able to open the door, start this thing up, and walk away and let your staff handle it.
Hey, I love that, walking away. That's my favorite part of the whole thing.
You listen, but you do, right? That's one of the things you've been able to do, and we've talked about this too, is you don't get involved in what happens on the racetrack. Once things started, you let them handle the program.
I mean, I set up the chess pieces and let the game play out, right? So I have all my guys and gals, and they've been with me, like you said, for a really, really long time. And customers know what they're going to get when they come to a challenge race for sure. They know the atmosphere is going to be great. We're going to have a great time. The racing on track is going to be fierce. They also know the officiating is going to be extremely fair and professional. And it's, like I said, by and large, it's been the same folks for a long time. We actually added a staff member this year. Did I tell you that?
No, I did not. Fill me in.
So we're adding another assistant race director. So it's always been Taylor Jocelyn and Mark Michione have been my number 1 and number 2. And then Casey Cook, longtime racer, driver coach, etc., is my flag man. So he functions as an on-track assistant race director as well. But so this year, I decided, as this program builds and we need to step it up to another level, I want to step Mark into maybe some of a steward's role. I mean, we don't have the budget, to spend on camera officiating and all the stewards' offices and all the stuff that, the sport's kind of getting to, but for old school guys like me, it might be a little overkill. But anyway, Mark is great in that steward's role. And if I can pull Mark off the track, at least sometimes when folks want to talk about a protest or a penalty, it doesn't affect what we do on track. So we've actually, as we all know, our racing staffs aren't getting any younger, but I pulled a guy in, Tyler Brooks, young Masters racer when he raced, but a kid to me, but grew up racing from the time he was 8 years old, raced, nationally till he was 20. You see him all the time, race the big Rotax races or IKF or whatnot. And he's been, got married and got a regular life, and now he's itching to get back into karting, but wants to do it on the other side of the fence. So I'm bringing Tyler to our side of the fence and become an assistant race director.
I like that. It's always good to have experience, right? I think that when you're off the track, whatever's happened as a racer myself, as yourself, when you talk to that person laying down the penalty, it's nice to have that person being an ex-racer who has experience and can say, listen, I was in your position. I understand what you did, but this is what happened. So no, I love that. It's a great addition there. Obviously with the OutLap here.
Sorry, I got 2 junior dads and an ex national level racer. So I think our staff's pretty good as far as
true. That's right. You're right. You do. That's right. I mean, in Taylor and Mark. I love that. All right. It's the OutLap podcast. We're previewing the Tucson event. Of course, we can talk more about the whole season too in your little segment here. But Tucson, Cal Speed, Sonoma. That's the lineup for the. We'll talk about pre-entries in a second. But then the interesting things is that I think, and you and I have talked about this before, normally when you have a season like this, a 3-race program, again, Andy's working at the shop. I love the fact that this is live and the phone's ringing. First race, big, and starts to get a little bit, less entries all the way down. It's going to be different this year. I have a sneaking feeling that Tucson might be your lowest entry, and then Cal Speed could be the next one, and then your finale could be the biggest weekend of the series this year.
Oh, absolutely.
You think?
It's absolutely how it's going to go. Tucson, it's always a funny place. We've started here for years, and it seems to be our lowest turnout, which is crazy because it's an unbelievable track the way it races. I mean, you've been there many years, and then for some reason it's Grand Junction-esque, right? It's a great track that's a little bit difficult to get to, but man, it's such a great racetrack. I got to go to it.
It is.
Our entries are going to exceed last year's entries at the same facility. I think our pre-entry number hit what we hit in total entries last year. As far as Tucson goes,
yep.
It may be a little lighter than our opener last year at Cal Speed because we always get that little Cal Speed bump. But what that tells me is when we get to Cal Speed, I'm going to get a 20 or 30 card bump, and then like you said, when we get to Sonoma, man, we're going to get another probably 20 or 30 card bump with the program, the Rock Sonoma program they have there.
I know, and for me, that's just I like that development. That's really what you're trying to do. Obviously, we always talk about 10% growth. If you can get 10% growth, you launched the program, bringing the Rock deal in, and it was really starting something brand new to a certain extent in Southern California and your area, and as the whole challenge of America. So I think you draw more people, of course, in from Canada and from other parts of the country as well. Looking forward to a good launch. When you look at the entries that we have coming for the Tucson event, the opener, is there something you look at and go, man, I'm really happy with that?
Oh, I'm excited to watch our senior shifter, our master shifter. I mean, both have great entries, and when you're talking about guys like Jake French and Race Liberante and Cole Bailey and some of the other names, Cole Shade, who stepped up and had a big win last year. We're going to have some really good pilots in that class for sure. And and then in Masters, and you got Mike Jones and Calvin Chen and the Firestone and Campbell from Arizona and some Ron White's guys. I mean, it's going to be some battles in those shifter classes for sure. I mean, that's those are always fun to watch. I mean, all our other classes are solid like always, but man, the more I watch these shifter classes, it's pretty exciting.
All right, Andy, I appreciate you joining us, buddy. We look forward to getting out there. I know what you're taking off. When do you roll in the truck anyways?
Man, Eric and I and Cameron Jocelyn are rolling first thing Sunday morning. We have to be on the ground and ready Monday morning when the trailer load of tire gets there and the trailer load of fuel gets there. And I mean, you've been behind the scenes for so many years. You see all the logistics that have to go into this. So we'll be ready to go. We'll drive all day Sunday. It's about 500 miles from the shop, and we'll get there Sunday evening, probably right at the end of their little club race, drop the trailer, and be ready to go Monday morning and start parking people or parking the products and get rolling.
That's awesome. Andy, I appreciate you joining us here at the EKN OutLap, and David and I will see you on Thursday.
Yes, you will. See you Thursday, Rob. Thank you, and travel safe.
Always great to talk with Andy, David, and I'm sure you heard from the audio there. It's always a busy place. I suggest that he turns the phone off, but he never does, and it inevitably rings through any one of the interviews I do with Andy. But I think one of the cool things he brought up there was the addition to the staff, and that was bringing in Tyler Brooks as an assistant race director. David, young blood is always great to have in the sport. Veteran guys like Taylor Jocelyn and Mark Michione, who Andy has relied on as a race director and stewards and an assistant race director in the last couple of years. But to bring somebody younger like Tyler, who's got so much racing experience, top-level racing experience, I think he's going to bring a really solid view, the different opinion, the different viewpoint to what he sees on the racetrack.
Yeah, I think the key word is opinion. Because as a race official, there's obviously different opinions, and as you said, Taylor and Mark kind of have that veteran aspect of looking at races, where Angel and Tyler now, or Tyrell, may have that different approach. So we'll see how things mix when we get into Tucson. But yeah, again, youth into that area of the sport is crucial. Because again, Andy's had the same people essentially doing their jobs for a number of years, and occasionally, you have one or two leave or something happens and you got to replace others. And so it's always good to see more people getting involved.
Agreed. All right, folks, we're going to head to our first break on this edition of the EKN OutLap. When we get back, as I said before, we'll go through the numbers from last year. As we get into each category, we'll tell you how many drivers are signed up right now for pre-entries. We're expecting some more trackside entries as well. But when we get back from this break, we'll go to the numbers and we'll talk a little bit about some new stuff for 2020. 25 years of experience, 25 years of success. Greg Bell and Leading Edge Motorsports are heading into their third decade in the sport with winning momentum and the best material possible. Last year's monumental victories at the Rock the Rio and SCUSA Super Nationals have proven what the sport has long known. Greg Bell is one of the finest karting tuners, and he and his drivers can get the job done. Looking for a change in equipment? Get on board with Leading Edge Motorsports. Leading Edge is North America's factory team for Formula K and Praga karts, and the new 2020 models are in stock and ready for pickup or shipping to your garage. Do you want to win like Danny Formal did with Leading Edge in Las Vegas? Call Greg Bell today at 209-369-0921 to secure your place on the team. Leading Edge Motorsports will be trackside in 2020 at the Challenge of the Americas, SCUSA Pro Tour and California Pro Kart Challenge, Rock Sonoma, and the KPX Karting Championship in NorCal. From Rock to Miami to Briggs, rely on Greg Bell and Leading Edge Motorsports to give you everything you need to step into the winner's circle. Check out leadingedgemotorsports.com to learn more. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and safety gear to get you on the track. ShopAKRA.com offers a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors in the sport to ensure that all the latest equipment is available to you, the consumer. With customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price. Be sure to visit ShopAKRA.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Also, follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials, clearance items, and new products. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network, Episode 5 of the EKN OutLap, brought to you by Atlanta Motorsports Park. They're actually having a karting summit in February. Check out some news on eKarting News about that. But David, let's jump into the numbers. I know you got some good notes here. Let's talk about the numbers. Let's talk about the entries from 2019, the winners, and see how kind of things shook down last year.
Well, last year they came out with 96 total entries. Again, first time that the challenge had been to Tucson with the Rock Cup USA banner. So it was a bit down from the opening event because, again, remember, Tucson was the second event in 2019. Now it's moving back to being the opening round. Again, almost 10 karts in every category. Micro was at only 4, and Master 100cc was at 1, and Senior 100cc at 9. But all the others had 10 or more entries overall. So it was good. Obviously, the shifter ranks were solid with 30 total, 16 in Senior, 14 in Master. And then you have 16 in Senior Rock and 15 in Master Rock. So again, those categories have always been strong. Junior Rock had 10 with Mini at 11. So the numbers are going to be mixed around a little bit this year when we get into talking a little bit more about each class.
Some cool winners last year as well. Obviously we had, I think, you have down here that what we have, like, I think, was it three double winners or four double winners on the weekend? I think it was 4. Filippo Sala winning both the Micro Rock races, Hunter Pickett winning both races in the senior shifter. Both shifter categories swept. Rod Clenard sweeping the shifter Masters Rock en route to the championship, and Jimmy Gregory was the only driver in the Masters 100cc, so of course he won both races as well. But victories for other drivers like Ethan Ho and Cooper Becklin, Logan Toke, Enzo Delini, Colby Dubato, Adam Kasich. those drivers stepping up in the opening or the round in Tucson, and then some kid named Wesley Boswell showed up and was able to get a victory as well. I'm not sure where that guy came from.
I'm not sure he's very talented at all. I think he kind of lucked out on that victory, but
that was such a surprise for me, David. When you were you obviously start posting your Paddock Insider stuff because I wasn't there last year. One of the things last year is we had some conflicts. This year, you and I will be at all three of the Challenger races. I missed the first two last year, but made Sonoma. But when you had your Paddock Insider out in your first reports, I was like, what? Where did this come from? Wesley Boswell, the veteran, the former Super Nationals race winner, rolled in, jumps in the cart, and just goes out and schools them, which I thought was awesome.
Well, you will be at all three events this year.
That's right.
I won't be at the last again because of scheduling conflicts. But I was at the first two rounds last year. I'll be at the first two rounds this year. Boswell, again, was there with Eddie Shimon, helping him out throughout last year. I believe he'll be again this year as well. But decided, hey, you know what? Might as well just jump in and race because they were trying to do some lead follows on practice day. You got to be entered to do it on Friday. So Boswell entered and decided to continue on and was able to score a victory.
One of the winners I didn't mention was Macy Williams. She had a fantastic run as well at Tucson, and she'll be back. We'll talk more about that when we get into the categories. David, let's talk about 2020, some of the additions. You mentioned already that Tucson was moved back to being the opening rounds. It was the second event last year, but moving to the first round this year. Not exactly. I haven't actually asked Andy what the reason for that was. Maybe we'll do that in the happy hour, but some other adjustments a little bit in the program as well. New category.
Yeah, Junior 100cc has been added for 2020. It was kind of thought of bringing it on in 2019. Andy wasn't quite convinced that the mixed engine package would work, but now he's moving forward with it as a number of other programs have been able to do it at the end of 2019, including Rock the Rio. So they brought it on now. So that brings the class total now to 10. For the event, and the Junior 100cc and Master 100cc will run on track together.
You had mentioned that last year we had 30 drivers here at the Tucson race, 16 in senior, 14 in master. We've got, I believe, it's 31 this time around pre-registered for senior and master. So that grid growing by one, but again, we'll be strong. The rock shifter stuff is strong coast to coast right now. Super
strong, and the field talent that is in these two categories for this weekend are phenomenal, and probably going to be the two highlighted classes that we're going to be watching throughout the weekend. Speaking of the classes and what we'll be watching, David Cole and I will go over that after this break. We're going to start with the shifter categories, throw in senior rock, master rock, and junior rock as well. After this break, it's time to go class by class here on the EKN OutLap.
Hi, EKN listeners. This is Jeff Wessel from Streeter Superstands. When it comes to lifts and stands for your carts and the largest selection of shop and trailer accessories, we know all about building and giving you the best. The Streeter Superstands crew has over 30 years of experience, are kart racers just like you, and know that the Streeter name stands for durability, affordability, and most of all, quality. We're the original and genuine manufacturer of Bigfoots and stacker stands, and we build them right here in the USA, along with our best-selling Streeter Superlift, upright stands, and an ever-growing roster of shop and trailer accessories to outfit any trailer or garage. While some guys pretend to be number one, we prove it every day, every race. Racers demand the best, and Streeter Superstand builds it. Check us out at StreeterSuperstands.com. When it comes to the best in lifts, stands, shop and trailer accessories, and all the cool necessities to make your race day easy and organized, it's all at StreeterSuperstands.com. We innovate, not imitate. Roll with the best right now at StreeterSuperstands.com.
The 2019 season has been an exciting year for Rock Cup USA, and the schedule is set to close out its biggest event on the calendar, Rock the Rio. Rockers will converge on the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas to celebrate Halloween week, competing at this premier international event on October 28th to November 2nd, all around a challenging temporary circuit with the Las Vegas Strip in the background. Rock Cup USA programs are wrapping up their 2019 seasons across the country, including the Rock the Rockies in Colorado, Rock Sonoma, and California Rock Championships in California, and many other clubs across North America. Learn more about the Rock the Rio event and all things that are rock at rockcupusa.com. Welcome back to the EKN OutLap here on the EKN Radio Network. It's our preview podcast, the 5th edition of this show. We launched it last year before the Super Nationals. This one brought to you by Atlanta Motorsports Park. David, time for us to jump in and really have a look at the categories. We'll talk about the number of entries we have. We'll talk about some of the drivers we think are going to stand out as well. Let's start with Senior Shifter Rock. 16 pre-entries coming into the event, and probably the biggest news is defending champion Ron White will be on the sidelines. He'll have the team here. He's got a bunch of guys coming to race. He'll have more throughout the year as well when we get to Sonoma and Cal-Speed in Sonoma. But Ron was involved in a motorcycle accident a little while back, still on the mend. Potential to see him maybe at Sonoma, but right now being smart and taking care of the body and taking care of his race team instead right now as well.
Well, he's not the young Ron White that he used to be. So yeah, he's definitely got to make sure the body heals. Again, as we get older, the body does not heal as quick as it used to. But he'll definitely be there, making sure his race team is ready to go. So that kind of opens up the door for this year's championship with him not going the opening round. Last year, one of the top contenders was Hunter Pickett. As we talked about, he had the 2 wins in Tucson last year, which kind of put him towards the top of the championship chase, but fell short with Ron White winning both of the two races at the season finale. So Pickett's going to come back. Obviously, going to winning both races last year. He's going to be among the favorites to win again this weekend.
Yeah, let's look at some of the notable veteran drivers as well. You know, a pre-entry from Jake French. We'll look forward to seeing Jake come out here as well. Hannah Greenmeyer is going to run. Hannah coming off a big X30 senior win at the Superkarts USA Winter Series at Homestead. Keon Tandon, a driver who's been running through the shifter kart ranks for the last number of years. And out of Texas, Mark Schneider running with Leading Edge Motorsports on a Formula K chassis. Let's see if Greg Bell and that Formula K can team up with Mark Schneider like he did with Danny Formal at both Rock the Rio and the Supernats when they were able to win both main events. I think Jake French is definitely going to be one to watch. I look forward to seeing Hannah to see what she can do coming off that big win. But David as well, one of the really interesting things about this Rock Shifter Senior category, which potentially will play to the fact we only have 8 pre-entries in Senior Rock, there's a bunch of guys that have come up from the junior category, David, and maybe senior that have moved into shifters this year.
A lot of transition moving over into the shifter ranks for the early part of 2020. Hannah Greenmeyer, obviously one of them. She kind of tested the waters a little bit last year. We saw her run at Rock the Rio. So this isn't her first time in shifter karts, but most notably in making their shifter kart debut is Jace Denmark Gessel, a longtime front runner in the senior ranks for the last couple of years. Last year's junior rock champion in the series, William Ferguson, he's moving up to shifter rock rather than senior rock. Ethan Ho was one of his top challengers in the championship last year. He's moving to shifter rock. Last year's senior rock champion, Cooper Becklin, also moving over into the shifter rock division. So a lot of notable names shaking up the field. So you add the veterans in with the young guns. It's going to be a pretty good blender going into the weekend.
Yeah, let's just throw a couple more names out. Of course, Micah Hendricks, who's on the podium at the Supernats in the Pro Shifter 2 category. He's running on his Croc. You've got Noel Dowler coming down from Canada as well. What else? We've got Carly Taylor, Cole Shade with Gary Carlton's GFC team. You've got Colton Griffin, a longtime shifter kart guy running for Pure Karting on a Tony kart. I like this. 16 drivers. I think this is going to be a really good battle. And I could throw 5 names in the hat of guys that are going to be near the front. But again, this is Tucson. You hit that setup nicely and you get into that lead group. And I think we could see 10 drivers potentially going for the podium. This is what I like about this category right now. And again, how good are the juniors going to be? You never know, right? When they roll out to begin the 2020 season, some of these guys moving up, like a William Ferguson, I think are going to be fun to watch. I like it.
Well, you might want to add one more because we got word that Race Liberante, the SCUSA Pro 2 champion last year, is making the trek out to Tucson, and is going to be racing in the series. I believe he used to be like a mini max or even junior road tax racer back in the day in Challenging America. So making his return back to the series. So he's going to be another name to watch in this field.
I saw that on social media. I like that addition. So make that essentially at least 17 entries now. We could see more. Again, one of the things about karting, I think we all know, is it's tough to make people pre-enter these days. A lot of people wait till afterwards and trackside. So we could see more entries coming in. But we do know this. It's going to be a big shifter kart grid, a senior running with Masters. David, I'm not saying tough, but I'm disappointed. We're not going to see Rod Clenard running in the shifter Masters class, the champ from last year. It will not be coming back, at least this year, maybe next year.
At least this year, yeah, had to get his business situated. It took a lot of time out last year to do a lot of racing, including Challenging Americas and all of the other rock events that happened throughout the year, including with that ticket that he won with the championship going over to the Rock Cup Super Finals. So a lot of racing for him last year, so he's going to take a little bit of time off. He will be at some rock races at the end of the year, including Rock the Rio, so expect to see him back. But again, he's gone, so that kind of opens the door. 2018 champion Calvin Chen's returning. You got Nick Firestone, who was runner-up last year and runner-up in 2018 as well. Ben Schermerhorn, who scored his first series victory in the category at the end of last year. He's returning as well. So a lot of good names returning, but there's also a lot of names that are coming in to stir up the fire.
Well, a couple of guys that we've seen on the podium at the Supernats, one of them being a race winner in the Master Shifter Kart category, Mike Jones, is rolling back in. Good to see Mike's name on the list, coming in on the Sodi Kart, driver out of Texas. Terry Lawrence as well, a driver out of Idaho on the VME. He's going to be strong, I think. Throw Kevin Woods in there, Jeff Mills, running for Ron White Racing. I think a dark horse as well will be Ron Eubanks. He's a 20-plus year shifter kart guy. We could see him up into the top 5, top 10. Jason Campbell, a local Arizona driver. He's going to be strong. Nick George as well. How about Jimmy McNeil? We haven't even talked about Jimmy McNeil yet.
Yeah, no, there's three-time Super Nationals winner, Pro Tour champion. So Jimmy McNeil, I don't think he's ever been at a challenge race. So this could be his debut. So we'll see how he's able to mix in with the guys who are used to running the series and used to the rock engine.
I like to see it. So good field, as we said, for the Masters drivers. And David, we talked about guys moving essentially from the single speed rock to the shifter kart category. And that's leaving us with, right at this point now, 8 entries in the rock senior class. Hopefully we'll see some more when we roll in next year, but rather next week or this weekend. We had 16 last year, 8 as a pre-entry. Interesting development for the senior rock class.
It is, but when you have the number of drivers that are moving out to the shifter rock division, it leaves a gap in the senior rock. So that's why we're at the number that we're at. Hopefully we'll get a couple more so we can get over into the double digits for the entry count, at least for the category. But returning, as we said, moving to shifter rock was defending champion Cooper Becklin. So he's leaving a void now. So in the championship race, that's going to be headed probably most likely by Jake Drew and Colby Dubato. They were the lead contenders in the championship last year. So they'll be in Tucson and among the favorites entering the weekend. But you also have to look at Oliver Calvo, who's making his series debut as one of the lead contenders.
Yeah, Oliver had a really strong run in the 100cc event in Vegas. He's running with Greg Bell at Leading Edge Motorsports on a Praga. I think he'll be very strong. At the challenge, and we don't get to see them any other time because they run up in Canada and of course, focus their stuff north of the border. But both Adam Dowler and Griffin Dowler will be running with their Apollo team under the RPM tent this particular weekend. I think they'll be good. Jensen Altsman also in the fight, and a couple of drivers coming up from the junior category. Did Eddie Shimon ran junior last year, I think, did he not?
Eddie Shimon was in senior.
It was in senior. Okay. Yep. Liam Lech is the driver moving up from junior,
yes.
Correct?
Yeah, Liam Lech is the driver moving up from the junior ranks, again, because some of the other junior drivers went to shifter rock. So Liam is a lone graduate from junior, but again, a pretty strong field. It should be a good battle as the drivers kind of size each other up throughout the weekend.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Let's go to Masters Rock now, David. 11 pre-entries coming in, and anytime you see this guy, he's going to challenge for the championship. I don't care what it is, because he's got championships in he's got probably in all three, right? Rotax championship, SCUSA championship, Challenge of the Americas championship. I'm talking about Derek Wang. He's anytime a Masters race comes up and Derek Wang's involved, you got to say he's the primary guy, at least one of the primary guys to go for a race win and a title.
Yeah, last year was his first year racing in the master category. Typically ran senior road tax and did some senior rock racing as well too. So moved to the masters class, won the last two rounds of the championship to cap off a 6-podium run to earn the championship, and a well-deserved championship because it was over Bill Cleveland, who we know is among the top veteran racers that we have in our sport today.
Yeah, Cleveland back again for 2020 here on the Challenge of the Americas program. Eric Jackson, a former champion as well. Jackson, he's a Challenge of the Americas champion, correct?
2008 was the championship for him. So, this year that was on the VME, but now moving over to Tony Kart this weekend.
Interesting. Also, you got Streets of Lancaster winner Nick DeGraff. He'll be on a VME kart this weekend as well. And we're going to get Chad Wallace back. Always great to hang out with Chad. And he's one of those guys that always has blinding speed. Could find himself on the podium. Every once in a while, drops a wheel here and there. He keeps on the racetrack. I think Chad Wallace could find himself on the podium as well. He'll definitely challenge for it, right?
Definitely have a chance to challenge for a podium. But one name that's missing, Paul Bonilla. We might not know. We don't know quite yet if he's going to be there. Long-time Challenge in America's racer and competitor. So it'll be interesting to see if he's one of those at-track entries.
Is he like holding off? Like, I'm not coming. I'm coming.
Who knows? It's Paul Bonilla. You never know.
That's very true. All right. So again, kind of went over what we saw in the Masters Rock class. Good field in Junior Rock, even with all the ones, David, all the guys that you have talked about who have transitioned either into senior or into the senior shifter class. Still 14 pre-entries, and we've got a number of drivers who have moved up from the mini class, but 14 drivers, including William Ferguson, who moved on. Ethan Ho moves on. Liam Lech moves on. It's going to open the door for somebody else to come in and battle for the championship. We see that every year. Top guys win championships. They move out. New crew comes in. Their turn to learn how to race for wins, to learn how to race for championships. Who do you think right now, looking at the lineup, who do you think we're going to see up front?
You look at last year's title chase, Ferguson with the championship. It was Ethan Ho in second and Liam Lech in fourth. So you take three of the top four away. Yeah. You kind of look at the championship chase after that. Macy Williams actually finished in third, so she's going to be among the top contenders. Haley and Cole Schrader, they'll be returning as well. They were top 10 in the championship chase, along with Ray Myers. Those are the four top returning drivers coming into 2020. But you look at the list, entry list, it's a good handful of new names, but also drivers who are moving up from the mini rock. So it's a good base for the Challenge of the Americas to have this solid of a junior rock program.
Yeah, last year's mini rock champion Enzo Deline coming in. Of course, his final race as a mini driver was that Super Nationals battle with Kai Sorensen, side by side across the line. I think I'm really looking forward to see how Enzo picks it up and immediately jumps into the fight. We'll see what kind of speed he has out of the gate come Friday. And of course, when we go live on EKN with the happy hour, we'll be seeing where the drivers stack up when we finally get everybody on the transponders on the very last session. Ian Q moving up as well. Patrick Molnar, who we watched come through the micro in the mini class, he's moving his way up into junior as well. One of the guys we talked about last year, a really strong end of the season, was Max Opolsky. Got super hot, David, at the end of 2019, and Opolsky lining up to run as well in this junior rock class.
Yeah, Opolsky is ended 2019 on a hot streak. Got a couple of victories and podium finishes, so he's going to be one to watch. Another one to watch will include AJ Zarcone, a driver who moved up from cadet to junior towards the end of last year. So he's another driver that could put down some good speed to be able to be competitive. So again, a lot of names that we'll be kind of watching because we're not sure who's going to really stand out until we get to the track.
Yeah, one of my dark horses, I've watched him over the last little while do well, was pretty strong at the Spring Nationals, I remember, in Utah. Also was great at the streets of Lancaster. Alex Berg out of Calgary, Alberta, running for Ryan Perry Motorsports. Alex's dad, Alan Berg, actually a former champion Mexican F3 back in the day, also was one of the only Canadians to run in Formula One. He's got his own racing school as well, the Allenberg Racing School. But he's, of course, coaching to a certain extent his son Alex, leaving it up to Ryan Perry Motorsports as well. You know, dads need to step back, even though they're former F1 drivers and Hall of Famers up in Canada. But I think Alex Berg is going to be a dark horse as well. I have a feeling that he is going to be battling there among the top 5. So a lot of great drivers in Junior Rock, 14 in total. Folks, final break of this edition of the EKN OutLap. When we come back, David and I are going to talk about the 100cc categories, all 3 of them, and we'll talk about mini and micro rock as well before putting a cap on this edition of the podcast. Stay with us, folks. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network. Made in the USA. That's exactly what you get from Precision Karting Technologies. Based in Detroit, Michigan, PKT brings over 35 years of manufacturing experience to the sport of karting. Their passion for the sport began focusing around the Kid Kart platform and has expanded every year with hundreds of products designed to put you on the podium. Precision Karting Technologies is known around North America for their successful line of axles available in all age groups. PKT manufactures a number of engine products for Comer, IAME, Rock, Rotax, and the popular Briggs & Stratton 206. A wide variety of chassis components for the many brands in the sport are available through PKT, including hubs, pedal risers, skid plates, and other hardware for your kart. Axle straightening, chassis adjustments, engine service, and specific CNC machining projects are available through their Motor City headquarters. To learn more about the many products and services available from Precision Karting Technologies, head to pktaxles.com. Winning takes top quality equipment, flawless preparation, experienced coaching, and passion. And at Team GFC, we live our passion. Team GFC is focused on 2020, and we're set to make our debut at the Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour in the East and return for more victories at the Challenge of the Americas in the West. We have arrive and drive packages available for all categories, including the mini and micro classes, utilizing our all-new GFC RR5 Cadet chassis, which made its debut at the SCUSA Super Nationals. Join Gary Carlton and his passionate team in either of these popular winter programs to kick off the 2020 season on a winning note. Team GFC is extremely excited about launching its new Team GFC Young Driver Development Program. Learn from one of the best American karters with over 25 years racing at the highest levels of the sport, offering personalized training on and off the track. Follow GFC Karting on Facebook and Instagram, or click over to gfckarting.com to learn more about joining Team GFC in 2020. GFC, live your passion. Welcome back to episode number 5 of the EKN OutLap. Myself, Rob Howden, and David Cole breaking down and kind of previewing the upcoming Challenge of the Americas opener at Musselman Honda Kart Circuit in Tucson, Arizona. David and I hitting the air on Thursday. Of course, we'll be trackside Thursday afternoon. I'll be there Thursday afternoon. David coming in a bit later. We'll both be there early on Friday morning to get things set up. And, of course, make sure you follow us on social media to get all the inside shots. We'll give you a good feel for what it's like going through the paddock. And, of course, drivers will be on track all day prepping for main events on Saturday and Sunday. David, interesting. I actually got on track with these 100cc drivers last year at the finale at Sonoma when Andy Saisman gave me the chance to run one of his Borels with the FLR 100cc engine on it, the Vortex. I like the fact that we've grown to 13 entries. We'll talk more about Masters 100cc as well, 4 this year, matching the high total at Sonoma on Sunday last year. But you mentioned Colby Dubato already when we talked about Senior Rock. He's definitely going to be the guy to watch early on here in Senior 100cc as the defending champion.
Yeah, not too many double-duty drivers at the Challenge in the Americas, obviously, with just the senior and junior, or senior and master last year, but now we have senior, master, and junior, so we'll see maybe a couple more compared to last year. But Colby Dubato was quick in both senior rock and senior 100cc categories, was able to score the championship last year. ending the year with 3 straight victories to earn himself the championship. So obviously comes into this weekend with the target on his back as the defending champion. But you also have Jackson Dunn and Everest Fedler as returning contenders. So they'll be ones to watch as well when we get to the track on Friday.
Yeah, 4 drivers coming in with Greg Welch and Forward Direction Motorsports. Tommy Traylor as well, making the jump up to the senior category for Trailer Kart Tech. He's a PKRA member in Phoenix. Other drivers to potentially watch, Toby Longnecker, again, a guy that we've watched do well. He does a lot of 4-cycle racing. He'll be, I believe, on Aluminos this weekend. You mentioned Jackson Dunn already. I like the lineup. Nathan Martin was actually there this past weekend. And we'll see if he's able to find a bit more speed as well. I just like the way things are shaking up. I like 13 guys in senior 100cc. I want to see this keep growing. I'd love to see 15, 20, 25 before the end of the season, because I think you and I both know how great this 100cc program is. And it's really, David, everywhere we go, it's expanding, people jumping on board with 100cc.
Certainly expanding. Hopefully we'll get the Masters category expanding, because as we go into this weekend, it's expanded by 4 times, I believe, compared to last year's numbers.
Yeah, last year, of course, Jimmy Gregory was the only driver for the first 2 weekends. That's kind of what fired up Andy Saisman to say, hey, why don't you come out and jump in and drive with Jimmy? And when we did that, Calvin Chen came out as well. And then one of the local drivers from Sonoma came out to join in the fun on Sunday. We had 4 drivers in the Sunday battle. They'll have 4, David, this weekend in Tucson. Jimmy Gregory, the 2019 champion's back. He's going to run. But, man, let's throw a couple of big dogs in there as well. Tim Meyer and Nick DeGraff coming to play too.
Yeah, Tim Meyer won the Rock the Rio event at the end of this year in the Master 100cc category. An amazing third to first pass to secure the lead and then go on to score the victory. And then Nick DeGraff, Master Rock race winner last year, able to is now doing double duty as well, him and Merrick. So they'll be doing double duty, both of them this weekend. So that kind of ups the ante a little bit in the Master 100cc category. And then you throw in Dana Estes, race dad last year, now getting back behind the wheel.
Yeah, I love to see that. Dana Estes running a VME for SoCal Kart Sales. And again, 100cc looking good. Let's jump to junior, David, because this is a brand new category and they're launching with 4 karts. That's a great baseline to start from. Again, once this thing rolls, numbers breed numbers. Ideally, we'll see some more 100cc junior drivers come out and join us at Cal Speed when we get back there in February. One of the drivers running double duty, you said not a bunch of them are, but Alex Berg will be running double duty as well. So he's going to get a lot of seat time over the weekend, which could play well for him potentially running for a win in this 100cc class.
Yeah, you cannot replace seat time. It's certainly a key factor into helping you on the weekend. As we know, driving wise, any seat time is good seat time, so it's good. He'll be joined by a fellow Calgaryan, Kiefer Peets, coming down from Canada, along with California racers Stephen Brucker and Andrew Chapman. So that rounds out the 4 driver field for that class.
One of the programs that Andy Saisman, of course, has to work on in terms of trying to he's trying to develop the rock program up and down the West Coast. And that's really kind of the driver pool for the Challenge of the Americas. It's a winter series, just like the Florida Winter Tour and the SCUSA Winter Series. It's all about giving drivers an opportunity, especially those that run regionally or nationally, who want to get out of the cold and maybe want to get some racing done in the off season, to come down to 1 week in a month and get some seat time. So micro rock and mini rock, only 3 drivers in each of the categories. That's the low point, essentially, of the program this year. And Dave, that really kind of speaks to the simple landscape, the foundation of rock racing in the West Coast right now. There's a program going in Sonoma, Rock Sonoma. They're trying to build it slowly in Southern California. Andy has the California Rock Championship now, which is the summer series for rock. But when you don't have rock running at clubs or whatever it may be, that's what you're not able to pull, right? Especially the younger drivers. Micro rock, there's 3 drivers. Mini rock, 3 as well. Yeah,
and the fact that a lot of the drivers who were in the championship or racing at all in the mini rock category last year at Challenge of the Americas, a lot of them have moved up to the junior ranks. So that's also part of the issues in cadet racing overall. When you look at it, is is some years you have a small graduating class that move up to junior. Some years you have a large graduating class, and sometimes the new drivers moving in or drivers moving up from micro aren't enough to fill up those gaps. Yeah. So
it's the ebbs and flows.
Yeah, it's just kind of the wave of the industry and how it goes. And as you said though, it's still building that base. This is the third year that Challenging Americas is under the Rock Cup USA banner, so it's still in that building the foundation years. So once we get a couple more years down the road and numbers are not improving, which I doubt they will, or I don't think they won't. Sorry, let me say that. I believe they will grow.
There you go.
We just have to wait. It takes time.
Yeah.
It's just like growing a plant.
That's it. 10% growth, I always say. As long as you have 10% growth every year, it's growing. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Compound interest, baby, 10% growth. In the mini rock class, only one driver actually with Challenge of the Americas experience, and that's Alex Rantala. He'll be running with Ron White Racing on a CRG. Alex Chartier coming in from Alberta on a VME with the S-Team Racing, and then Tristan Young as well with VME. In the micro rock category, we have a couple drivers actually coming back. Cypress Andrews and Nico Sarfati are coming back. Kyle Drysdale will be new. Drysdale running with Ruthless Karting on a Nitro. Andrews with Leading Edge Motorsports on a Formula K. And Nico Sarfati, as we've seen from Gary Carlton's abundant social media. He really works social media. GFC does. And Nico, part of his young driver development program. So, again, 3 drivers in micro. 3 drivers in mini. They'll put a good show on for us. I expect to potentially run them together on the racetrack. But, David, there it is. That's the breakdown of the categories that we're going to see this year on the Challenge of the Americas. Should be a great weekend. Just like we said, started with it. I can end with it here too. Just a tremendous racetrack. The battlers are going to be good. If we get these 3 micros and 3 minis running together, battling it out, that's all we ever need. It'll be a fun race to watch, right?
Yeah, 8 race groups on the weekend. So mini and micro will run together along with junior and master 100cc. So those 2 categories together, mini and micro together. So 8 race groups overall on the weekend, which will provide 8 exciting races throughout Saturday and Sunday.
Let's wrap things up, folks. If you want to listen, of course, if you're listening to the OutLap podcast, you're probably fired up to listen to our broadcast if you're not going to be in Tucson throughout the weekend. ekartingnews.com/live. That is where our live page is. We'll stream live timing there. We stream the live play-by-play there as well. When you tune in, you'll see it, of course, on social media. We'll post it up. Please do us a favor. Share that post. We want more people to know that. We want more people to see that URL so they can jump on and listen as well. Great way to expose our sport and push it out to all your followers if you share. If you're listening, post on. Here's where I'm listening from. Here's the guy or girl that I'm cheering for, and here's the URL. That's the way you follow the action all weekend long. We'll be live, of course, in happy hour in the afternoon, that happy hour session. Greg Bell's going to join us from Leading Edge Motorsports. We always sit down with Andy Saisman to talk about the program. And then, of course, full qualifying to main events on Sunday. Remember, we're West Coast time, Pacific time in Tucson. Mm-hmm. It's Pacific, right?
I believe it's
Mountain. It's a Mountain time, or is it Pacific?
I believe it's Mountain. Let me
find out that for sure. David's going to come back with that. Also, you can always follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We do the top 10 results on Facebook and Twitter. We'll throw some more stuff up there. I want to play around a little bit with some from Facebook Live as well. We'll do some of that. David and I will play with that. He does confirm it is Mountain time. So remember that if you're trying to tune in, we are Mountain time. So we'll start a little bit later if you're tuning in from the East. Instagram, a great place to follow us. We'll have stuff on the main Instagram, but we always like to play with the Instagram story as well, give you lots of insights and shots from the event itself. Cole will be trackside like he is, so taking tons of pictures of the action and, of course, what's happening on pit lane. And you can always follow us with our hashtags as well. We will use at EKN at Coda and at Coda 2020, and you'll see at Team Cooper Tire as well, because Cooper Tire signing on once again as our presenting sponsor of the 2020 EKN Trackside Live Tour. Race number 2 for me, David Cole. Race number 1 for you, buddy. You're coming out of the gate, ready to go at Tucson.
I don't think we're going to be able to put a Cooper Tire banner around the scoring tower. It's a little too high.
It's too small. The size of the banners it would go all the way around one time.
I'm just wondering how we would put it up there. It would be a little bit of a gamble, but looking forward to it. We're going to have great racing, great food, great company. All three good reasons to head to Tucson.
Yeah, karting's all about having a good time, folks. I know that a lot of people look at it and say, hey, I'm trying to develop. I want to become a professional race car driver. I think we all know that's a low possibility, but you push hard. Karting's more about having a great time with your family, learning family values, learning about the technical side, how to approach pressure. You learn so much in the sport itself, and it's not just about trying to become a professional race car driver. It's family time, and it's just great to be out at the racetrack. David, final thoughts before we cap it off?
In-N-Out Burger, tacos, In-N-Out Burger, tacos. Easy trip from the airport to the hotel. That's going to be nice.
Silver Saddle? Isn't it called the Silver Saddle? Isn't that where we're going Sunday night?
Silver Saddle, maybe the other place we went to last year. That was different. But In-N-Out Burger, yeah. I
know, Dave. That's for you. It'll be your first In-N-Out of 2020. Hashtag Burger Tour 2020.
More so just getting out of this cold weather. This week's
Agreed.
Been cold.
I literally haven't left the house in 2 days, but I'm heading out today. I got to do some errands before I leave. So yeah, I get it.
You're going to be the smelly one.
Dude, it's cold. I shower every day. That's what I do. All right, David. Thank you so much, bud. I appreciate it. Get yourself packed up. We're heading to Tucson. Folks, I do appreciate you tuning into the EKN Radio Network. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, if you're listening to the podcast and not either on the EKN, you listen on ekartingnews.com/radio. At any time. That's the radio link and live stream on the website. You download the EKN Radio Network app. You can listen to us anytime, anywhere on your phone. I've always hooked that up, put it on the car when you're driving to work, coming home. But we do appreciate it. Thank you so much. You can listen. You can download on iTunes, Google Play. You can put it on your library and Spotify. You can always go to podbean.com as well. Folks, we're done. Episode 5 of the EKN OutLap brought to you by the Atlanta Motorsports Park. We give the preview for the Challenge of the Americas opener in Tucson, Arizona this coming weekend. We hope you tune in. It's going to be some great racing to kick off the challenge for 2020. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.